is NBC Palm Springs.
Good morning, Coachella Valley, and thank you for joining us for NBC Palm Springs Midday. I'm Joe Smith. I'm glad you're here. We're going to turn things over to Jerry. And Jerry, have you been outside lately?
No, I've been staying in the air-conditioned building because I'm smart.
That's smart, yeah.
Yeah, partly cloudy skies right now. We have perimeter clouds around the mountains, and that'll be the case with showers and thunderstorms developing in the higher elevations later today. But yeah, we'll see some sunshine. It's going to be a hot one. Excessive heat warning still in effect. In fact, they've been pushed through Thursday of this week because we're not going to see any relief from that heat. In fact, 117 our forecast high for Palm Springs. More on what we can expect not only today, but the rest of the week in the full forecast with 7-day this half hour.
All right, Jerry, thank you. Now to our top story. A few moderate earthquakes struck this morning in Baja California and were felt as far north as Carlsbad, according to the USGS. The first quake, a magnitude 5.1, struck at 8:30 a.m. with a 4.2 hitting a minute later, and a 4.3 followed. No damage or injuries in San Diego County are reported. As we continue to experience a record-breaking heat wave, there are other implications besides it simply being hot outside. During the record-breaking heat, many Californians saw rolling outages Friday night for the first time in over a decade. Managers of California's power grid issued a statewide flex alert calling for voluntary conservation through Wednesday. The flex alerts are in effect from 3 to 10 p.m. each day. CalISO says be prepared for rolling outages during the late afternoons and early evenings through Wednesday. People are also urged to shift energy use to morning and nighttime hours and conserve during late afternoon and evening hours. As we continue to face triple-digit temperatures and humid conditions, cooling centers across the valley are a resource that many people rely on. Our Nico Payne visited a couple to find out what's new as we face both extreme heat and the pandemic.
We've seen a little bit of an increase because of the added heat. Usually we've got a full house, and tonight we've got a full house as well, and we're just making room for the extra people if they come in.
The Coachella Valley Rescue Mission is open to the public, providing many services to try and beat the heat.
We're just like an oasis in the desert. We're ready to help. We offer showers. We offer clothing exchange, we offer case management, we offer meals, we offer a place to sleep for the night, and just a place to get out of the heat.
And not too far from the rescue mission, Martha's Village and Kitchen is also used as a cooling center, usually open Monday through Friday, but during extreme conditions, they do open on the weekends.
We're actually opening them up on the weekends as well because of the heat. We did have it open today and it was pretty packed.
And though we haven't seen rolling blackouts in our county yet, both cooling centers say they are prepared if that were to happen.
If you're experiencing a rolling blackout and you don't have any AC in your house and you need those services, you can come here too. We're a designated cooling center.
We run off regular power, but we also have generators, so if the power does go out, we can still function and operate.
There are safety precautions put in place due to the ongoing pandemic, and some offered advice for this weather.
Face masks are required. We have hand wash stations. We have hand sanitizer available, and we're making sure that everybody is safe, happy, and healthy here.
Try to stay cool, drink plenty of water, stay hydrated, and try to stay out of the direct sun.
Nico Payne, NBC Palm Springs.
After 17 days of burning, the Apple fire seems to be at its end. It's now 95% contained after burning more than 33,000 acres. Full containment is expected by noon today. And a staggering figure coming out of the effort. So far, $51.8 million has been spent on fighting the Apple fire. It's the largest fire seen in the region in over a decade. Another fire is burning outside of LA, the Ranch 2 fire. It's burned over 2,200 acres and is just 7% contained. Police identified a suspect in connection to the fire. They think 36-year-old Placenia Osman intentionally started the fire. Osman has several arrest warrants, and police warn he may be violent. And yet still another fire, this one in San Bernardino County in the Mojave National Preserve. This video was taken on the I-15 southbound, about 15 miles out from Baker. The Dome fire burns over 16,000 acres. The Mojave National Preserve is over 1 million acres of mostly protected federal land within the national park system. And now let's take a live look outside. It looks absolutely beautiful outside. Some clouds in the air. This is from our Agua Caliente Casino cam. But if you go outside, you know that it's already, is it already in triple digits? Jerry?
Yeah, in some areas of the Coachella Valley, already in triple digits. Yes, it's going to be a quick warm-up today. Clouds in the distance, sunshine over the Coachella Valley. A little update what happened over this last weekend. Death Valley, if you haven't heard, hit 130 degrees. Now, that's the hottest temperature ever recorded on this planet for the month of August. That's outstanding. The highest temperature ever recorded on the planet ever was 134. Back in 1913, if I'm not mistaken, in the month of July. We set some records around here, too. Thermal peaked at 117. That broke a record. Indio, 115. Idlewild, 95 degrees. That extended all the way east into Phoenix, where they had 115 degrees yesterday. So temperatures are going to be up there again today. 101, as you mentioned, triple digits. Yeah, we're in that territory right now. Light winds, 26% relative humidity. We have Big Bear at 82 as we do our temp check. Yeah, a lot of triple digits around not only the valley but the high desert at this hour, including 106 at Indio at this hour and 104 Rancho Mirage. Partly cloudy skies on our satellite imagery. We do have a lot of moisture, mid-level moisture moving up from the southeast, and that'll bring us some mountain thunderstorms a little later on today. Not a lot of instability. That means no rain for the Coachella Valley. But later on today, Big Bear and even around Idlewild should see some thunderstorm development this afternoon. 115 to 119. Yeah, way up there thanks to that ridge of high pressure. And humidity basically will be a little bit sticky too. We'll see those numbers from the mid-60s drop to around 60. Still, up there. And temperatures easily into the 110s by noon today. A very quick warm-up. Because of that, excessive heat warnings have been extended now through Thursday because we're not going to get any relief from the heat in our near future. So 117 today and our Comfort Air 3-day forecast. 114 tomorrow. Still up there Wednesday with 116. What about the next weekend? We'll check that out. Full forecast in just minutes.
Thank you, Jerry.
Coronavirus coverage brought to you by East Valley COVID-19 testing site, serving residents of eastern Coachella Valley.
And here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for Riverside County and the Valley. These are as of Friday. There are over 45,000 cases in Riverside County, over 11,000 of those in the Coachella Valley. 881 deaths in the county, 268 of those in the Valley. We saw the effects of a technical glitch in reporting cases numbers earlier in the week, but it has since been fixed and the numbers have leveled off. More children are being infected with COVID-19. This is according to the CDC. The agency says as of August 3rd, over 7% of all reported cases were children. However, children make up about 22% of the U.S. population. The rate of infections in children has been increasing steadily from March to July. The agency says that the true infection rate in kids is still unknown. It's in part due to a lack of widespread testing. A new and faster coronavirus test is out, and the FDA is calling it groundbreaking. It's a saliva test that could drive down the cost of COVID testing and make them available to more people. NBC's Stephanie Gosk has the details.
This morning, a breakthrough development in the fight against COVID-19. The Food and Drug Administration granting emergency use authorization for Saliva Direct, a saliva-based COVID test developed by researchers at Yale.
This is one of the most significant advances in the 6 months we've been living with coronavirus.
The new test is far less invasive than the widely used nasal swabs, and it can actually be self-administered. Subjects only need to spit into a tube. And thanks to a simplified testing method, the turnaround time is cut from a week to less than 24 hours, something top doctors say is critical to stopping the spread.
If the testing is done to really determine if you are infected, and would you be infecting somebody else? That's an unreasonable amount of time to wait.
But perhaps the biggest game changer, the price. One test could cost as little as $10, making it more affordable to test more people more frequently.
We envision Saliva Direct to be a screening tool for large return to programs. So whether that's return to work, return to school.
The NBA, which gave around $500,000 to fund the development of Saliva Direct, allowed the product to be tested on some players, coaches, and staff before they reported to the bubble in Disney World. They found the accuracy of the Saliva Direct results matched almost perfectly with proven testing methods. Researchers behind the test hope to scale it across the country and around the world within weeks. A similar test developed at Rutgers is already being used by Major League Baseball. Players and staff are tested every other day.
It takes, 3 minutes to complete the process, so it's no big deal.
30,000 saliva samples are taken into this Rutgers lab for analysis every day. Roughly 600 are Major League staff and players. Lab Chief Andrew Brooks breaks down the results with us.
Does anyone have COVID-19?
So right here is a patient sample that you can see all 3 genes light up in addition to the control gene. This person's positive for COVID.
So of all the thousands of samples that you guys get in here, a sample is a sample is a sample. That could be a Major League player, or that could be a grandma in Indiana.
Exactly right.
Yale School of Public Health says this isn't so much a product as it is a process, and it is sharing that process with labs across the country that already have the technology, which could have a big impact on testing accessibility. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
And a faster COVID-19 testing device is being developed by Emirati and Israeli firms. The agreement between the two states was announced yesterday. Officials say the agreement will help serve humanity by strengthening research on COVID-19. 2 senior officials are departing the CDC. Chief of Staff Kyle McGowan and Deputy Chief of Staff Amanda Campbell both resigned effective Friday. The 2 are leaving voluntarily to start a consulting firm. McGowan and Campbell are both Trump appointees, but members of the administration have criticized them for not being loyal enough. Nearly 100% of brands of hand sanitizer have been recalled in recent weeks. Now, here are some tips to spot some of what you should avoid. Be wary of hand sanitizers that don't have clean alcohol scent. If it contains an alcohol content less than 70% or claims to be alcohol-free, it may not be adequate to kill germs. And if it feels sticky, chances are it contains glycerin, a thickening agent known to lower the effectiveness. Up next, today is day 1 of the Democratic National Virtual Convention. Several political heavy hitters are scheduled. We have the rundown next. The Democratic National Convention starts tonight. This morning, we've got a rundown of what to expect, plus the latest from Washington on how changes at the U.S. Postal Service could affect your vote. Here's Tracy Potts.
The Democratic National Convention starts tonight online, featuring former First Lady Michelle Obama.
And our broad message is there is room for everyone at the Democratic Party table.
Also tonight, Senator Bernie Sanders. He says he'll focus on the plight of American families.
You're seeing people who cannot pay their bills, who have no health insurance. What we are looking at is an absolute horror show.
On Wednesday, Senator Kamala Harris accepts the vice presidential nomination.
This is going to be a knockdown dragout. And we're ready.
Our new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll shows Joe Biden with a 9-point lead over President Trump. In Washington, Congress is back this weekend, moving up a hearing to question Postmaster General Louis DeJoy amid claims that the president is trying to slow down the mail ahead of November's election.
We heard from one individual that said the processing machines that can do 80,000 or more sorts, they were actually told to stop after 40,000, not to process all of the mail.
The White House says that's wrong.
There's no sorting machines that are going offline between now and the election. That's something that my Democrat friends are trying to do to stoke fear out there. That's not happening.
46 states and the District of Columbia have been told mail-in votes may not arrive in time to be counted. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
And this program reminder, you can watch the Democratic National Convention tonight right here on NBC Palm Springs. It starts at 7 p.m. The mother of a 5-year-old North Carolina boy fatally shot while playing in his front yard says she wants the death penalty for the man accused. 5-year-old Cannon Hinton was riding a bike outside his father's home while playing with his sisters when witnesses say a neighbor walked up to him and shot him in the head. The neighbor, 25-year-old Darius Sessoms, has been charged with first-degree murder. And detectives in Ohio are investigating a shooting that left an 8-year-old girl dead Friday night. Alex Stokes reports from Akron.
You don't have to be impacted directly by the violence to care about what happened.
Akron police are hoping someone will come forward with information on a deadly shooting that killed 8-year-old Michaela Pickett.
We received multiple calls for shots fired.
Officers arrived on the 700 block of Roselle Avenue just before midnight.
Detectives say there was a large gathering of teens outside the house before the shooting happened.
Possibly a birthday party.
A cousin told us they were there and remembered ducking behind bushes during the shooting. A neighbor said a bullet went through their house, lodging right above their child's bed.
She was outside in the backyard of that particular residence when she was shot.
Police believe Michaela was shot in the back. She passed away at Akron Children's Hospital.
You're at a loss for words when people like that are impacted. Families of victims that young are impacted. We've seen an uptick with violent crime involving children.
Michaela's death is the 31st homicide police are investigating this year.
We have 6 this year that were under the age of 19.
That, Lieutenant Michael Miller says, is 6 too many.
We want the community to know that we understand, we're aware of it, and we are attacking that gradually every day.
Police are looking for 1 or more suspects involved.
We don't think that the immediate community surrounding the incident is any particular danger, but with respect to someone that would do a crime like this, there's always a risk and a concern until they're captured.
They are asking the community to rally and help them with the investigation.
There's a line. And the line is drawn around the sanctity and the purity of children. This is an 8-year-old. We need someone who saw something, knows something, to please say something.
Folks reporting. A hostage situation ends in Texas after 3 police officers are shot near Austin. Police say a man took his mother, brother, and sister hostage inside their home yesterday and then shot 3 police officers who responded to the mother's call for help. Police say the man has a history of mental health issues. He released his family earlier this morning. All are said to be fine. Let's take a live look outside right now from our Agua Caliente Casino cam in Palm Springs. Jerry has a look at your forecast. It's going to be a hot one. Beware.
Clouds in our Agua Caliente casino cam view here. Basically, we're going to see mixed of sun and clouds over the Coachella Valley, a lot of mountain clouds. Yesterday, we had lots of record high temps around the southwest. Palm Springs almost got there, 114 yesterday, the record 115. But we're going to be up there again today and another day where records will fall. Already triple digits around the Coachella Valley. A lot of 102s and 103s, mostly cloudy skies over Southern California. High pressure basically to our north. Everything's rotating around that upper level high right now, and some mid-level moisture being pushed into the area. Nothing on radar yet. We'll see some mountain thunderstorms develop, and there's a chance of rain to the west of us as well. But that high pressure center also keeping temps well above average again today. 115 to 119, our range of highs. And that excessive heat warning we've been dealing with over the past couple of days has been extended again, now through Thursday. And when you see the 70 forecast, it may be extended even more. All this week, temperatures well above average, not only for the Coachella Valley, but a bunch of Southern California. So today, 117 for Palm Springs, Thousand Palms, Indio, 118 later today at Palm Desert, and a little lower, but still above average for tomorrow. The reason the numbers come down a few degrees is because the humidity moves up. We're seeing 60-degree dew points each and every day, but a little bump in the humidity on Tuesday, so a little stickier for you when you head outside tomorrow afternoon. Will we see rain? Yes and no. Nothing for the Coachella Valley. Basically starting the clock this morning, running through around noontime, we'll begin to see some thunderstorms develop in the San Bernardino Mountains, and that'll continue into the early afternoon hours. Around 2 o'clock, the Santa Cena Mountains will get in on the action, producing some storms, basically continuing 3, 4 o'clock, and then we may see some action in the Little San Bernardino Mountains. Short-lived there, but some of that could push as those steering currents move everything to the west-northwest. Yucca Valley could get a few sprinkles, but otherwise nothing for the valley. That was the rapid refresh short-term model. The longer range GFS concurs. Basically, those same areas will see some rain. Okay, Genevieve and Foster are the latest two storms that developed over the weekend. Foster basically falling apart, so not worried about that one. But Genevieve is going to be a quick developer here. It's already a Cat 1 hurricane. It became a hurricane just a couple hours ago. It could become a Category 4 major hurricane by late tomorrow. That's how fast it's developing as it parallels the Mexican coastline. We're going to watch this because by this coming weekend, it could pull up some moisture into southwest United States. If that happens, we'll let you know. Of course, that's a week away. Things may change. Right now, Comfort Air 7-day forecast. Yeah, no relief from the heat or the humidity. 117 today, 114 very sticky tomorrow. Pair of 116s Wednesday, Thursday.
Desert Pass is brought to you by Mike Thompson RV. Your adventure starts here.
It was considered the last great manhunt of the Old West, and in this morning's Our Desert Past, we'll tell you the true story of the manhunt for Willie Boy. Here's Gino Lamont.
It's been referred to as the last Western manhunt, a 2-week-long trek across the deserts of Riverside and San Bernardino counties back in 1909. The pursuers were the members of a posse organized in Banning. Their goal? To bring back a Native American Paiute descent known only as Willie Boy, dead or alive.
What the hell does he want to go to Palm Springs for? What's he got there? A bunch of lungers living in tents and some Indians he don't know? God damn it, he should be headed to 29 Palms where he can get help. He should be heading up the Dry Morongo Pass.
One version of the Willie Boy story was released to moviegoers in 1969, titled, Tell Them Willie Boy Is Here. It starred Robert Redford as a fictionalized lawman tracking the armed fugitive, played by Robert Blake, across the desert.
Tell him Willie Boy is here!
Much like the film, the actual story began with a tragedy on September 26, 1909, a tragedy fueled by a forbidden love. Willie Boy loved a Native American girl named Carlotta. Her family had moved to Banning to work the fruit harvest.
They were extended cousins, but they were from the same bloodline.
Carlotta's father, William Mike, also known as Old Mike Boniface, was a spiritual leader and a medicine man. He was opposed to the relationship. Historian Kenneth Gentry explains.
He basically found his daughter with Willie Boy up in 29 Palms and told Willie Boy never to see her again, took her away. He wasn't ever allowed to look at Carlotta ever again. And about a month later, Willie Boy followed him down to Banning and then showed up at his house at night.
There are no witnesses to confirm what happened next. It is believed that Willie Boy went to ask Carlotta's hand in marriage. But before the night was over, Old Mike Boniface was dead with a bullet through his left eye, and Willie Boy and Carlotta were on the run.
In all sincerity, it was probably a murder. He took a rifle to go get a girl, which is to say somebody died at the end, but Mike's wife waited 9 to 12 hours before she actually reported it to the police, which leads one to believe that if it was a murder, it was at least accidental, which is to say a lot of people will say that she did that because she was fearing Willie Boy. Just as many people will say that she did that to give them a head start.
The Indian man wanted to marry a daughter. It wasn't uncommon for the young man to kill the father. Yeah, we're on the reservations. You know.
Yeah.
But the problem was they got inside the Banning city limits, and that brought the white man's law into it.
So from Banning, a posse was organized.
Originally, it was a sheriff. It was 2 Indians who were working as guides. It was just a small group of people who were right there at the time, set out after him. After a couple of days, it doubled, and then after a couple of weeks, it ended up, as I said, well over 200.
During one encounter with the posse, Carlotta died of a gunshot wound. Whether the bullet was fired by Willie Boy or one of the deputies is still unclear to this day.
She was shot from about 300 yards behind and above. If Willie Boy had shot her, he would have been face to face. It would have been an intimate act, if you ask me. He definitely would have shot her in the back, and furthermore, if he did, I really doubt that the posse wouldn't have heard that shot and then found her warm body, which is to say, someone shot her with a rifle in the back, and it's believed that it was one of the posse members.
Grandpa said she was shot through her breast from the back. He says, well, it would have been impossible for the posse to do it because they wouldn't shoot at anything that they couldn't see the whole body, including the head, because they were trying to shoot Willie Boy in the head.
There are few more familiar with the Willie Boy legend than Morgan Reish. His grandfather, Deputy Charles Reish, took a bullet during the ordeal.
Willie Boy shot, I think it was 3 horses out from under the posse with a rifle. He's trying to put the posse afoot. Grandpa always said he wasn't shooting at him. He was intending to get his horse. He shot high, shooting a 30-30 with open sights 300 yards, and hit him in the right hip bone. And his handcuffs, he was a deputy sheriff, his handcuffs turned the bullet. Instead of going straight to it, took the top of this hip bone off and the point of 2 vertebrae. Well, when I talked to my grandpa about it, I said, did it hurt when you got shot? He says, yeah, it felt like somebody knocked me off my horse with a 2x6.
Charlie Ricci was shot, and they had to basically disband and get back to help. At that point, there were so many people wanting to hunt Willie Boy down. They chose to wait a week before they went back out to look for him, which is very awkward in the first place. With so many people gearing up to go, waiting a week is just confusing to me.
The nearly 600-mile chase came to a close on October 15th at Ruby Mountain near Landers. This is where deputies found a body believed to be that of Willie Boy's. It was decided that the cause of death was suicide since his body wasn't brought back. Some historians have questioned the details around Willie Boy's death, or if he was even actually dead.
The body didn't show any signs of having decomposed in the desert like a body would, which is to say, first of all, animals hadn't just taken his body away. His shirt was still tucked in, his overalls were still over. They didn't have a clear shot of his face, and even if he had decomposed for a month, at the time, the practice was to show off your kill. Any other posse would have had numerous photos with him. Not only did they not photograph his body properly, but then they burned it on site immediately, which, again, there's too many questions.
We took a shovel up there and we sifted the dirt, and we found all the hardware off of the bib overalls he wore, and fragments of teeth and everything. If he got away, I don't know how come we found fragments of teeth in when we screened the sand and found all that hardware off his clothes that he was wearing.
But if it wasn't Willie Boy's body that was found that day, then what happened to Willie Boy?
There's plenty of stories that go on to say that he retired, lived for a long time in Nevada and died of tuberculosis.
Without official proof of death, some imaginative reporters speculate about Willie Boy to sell more newspapers. One such story involved President William Howard Taft, who was on a railroad tour of Southern California at the time.
Basically, the idea was that Willie Boy was going to assassinate the president just because he happened to be running from a posse during the same time that the president would have been in the same area. General area. San Bernardino is a huge county.
Some organizers politicized the Willie Boy manhunt to serve their needs, such as some temperance groups who used the drunken Indian racial stereotype to push for prohibition.
One comment basically got alcohol into the situation, and it turned him into a violent drunk. I'm sure he had some alcohol in his lifetime, but I doubt that it was a factor in this case.
And now that it's been more than a century since the manhunt, and whether this fugitive from justice was a folk hero or a cold-blooded killer is still up for debate. But if anyone should inquire about the last manhunt of the American West, just tell them, Willie Boy is here.
I don't see him as a hero, and I definitely don't see him as a cold-blooded murderer. I think he was in love with maybe the wrong person, and circumstances just didn't. He just had a very bad hand.
In Your Health Today this week, we're talking about healthy drinks that'll give you long-lasting energy. Rather than relying on that coffee or artificial energy drink to get you through the day, we have some alternatives for you. The first one we're talking about is tea. White, green, and black teas all do contain caffeine, but it's a cleaner burning, longer lasting form over what you get from coffee. You will not crash and you won't get jittery. The tannin in black tea slows the absorption of caffeine and releases it in manageable increments. Now, these teas will wake you up, nourish your body, and keep you going longer. But here's the hard part. You don't want to add creamer or anything else for that matter. A squeeze of lemon maybe, or a drop of honey. There are plenty of other healthy energy boosters that we'll be talking about all week long. Just to clarify, though, we're not saying coffee is bad. In fact, coffee is good for you in moderation. It contains antioxidants and gives you a good energy boost, but too much of it can cause insomnia, depression, and anxiety. Also, when you add all that sugar and milk or artificial creamer, that is not good for your body as well. So if you tend to overdo the coffee, we're going to give you alternatives. And that's what's happening in Your Health Today.
And now some consumer news. There may be a laptop shortage as the new school gets underway, especially for cheaper Chromebooks. Laptop maker Acer warns it's not even close to supplying enough Chromebooks to support virtual classrooms. One reason for the shortfall is supply chain issues. The two largest drugstore chains in the U.S., Walgreens and CVS, are putting in place coronavirus precautions for flu shots. USA Today reports the pharmacists will check temperatures, screen for other symptoms, and wear face shields for the first time while giving the shots. People are encouraged to schedule appointments. A man saves his wife from the jaws of a giant white shark in Australia. Chantel Doyle was attacked by the shark while surfing. When it attacked her right leg, her husband was just a few feet away. He climbed onto her board, punching the shark to get it to release her.
Well, you see the mother of your child and your support, everything that's who you are, and so you just react, you just get off that calf. That's all I could think was just get off, you know. And if it was a dog, if it was anything in that same way, you just get it off. You're not thinking punch it. I don't think punch anytime soon. Your body reacts to saying get off, get off.
Mark Rapley said his wife is in pretty good spirits, recovering from severe lacerations. And as we head to break, a beautiful look outside. This is from our Walter Clark Highway 111 camera. Jerry's got that blistering forecast coming up.
And a good Monday morning. Go Caliente Casino Cam. Yeah, clouds basically all around the Coachella Valley. Partly cloudy skies, a mix of sun and clouds today. Yesterday, we hit a high of, basically above average, a 114, 106 the average. We're going to be close to that number again today. 100 Yucca Valley, currently 107, 29 Palms. Everyone in the Coachella Valley above 100 degrees right now and still moving on up to the 110s. Yeah, partly cloudy skies under satellite imagery. High pressure located to the north, upper level high, kind of rotating all that moisture in the mid levels around us right now. Moisture coming in from the southeast. Now, nothing showing up really on our radar over Southern California yet. That'll change a little later on today with the heating of the day. Showers possibly to the west of us, but mostly in the higher elevations. More on that in a bit. Excessive heat warnings, still in effect for the Coachella Valley and much of Southern California. Basically now through Thursday, they pushed it back another day. 113 this afternoon for Palm Springs, 115. That'll be the high for Palm Desert. 117s for Indio Thousand Palms, above 110 at 29 Palms and close to 110 at Cabazon later today. Tomorrow the numbers come down just a couple notches. That's because the humidity moves up. It'll even be stickier tomorrow. So basically across the board for this week, 60-degree dew points and relative humidity in the middle of the afternoon in the 20 percentile range. And then tomorrow we get a little boost, a little extra stickiness as you move into Tuesday afternoon. As far as rain, looking at a couple computer models. This is the rapid refresh, short term, but updates quite often. And moving into the afternoon, we're going to begin to see some showers and thunderstorms in the San Bernardino Mountains. That'll continue. And then the Santa Cena Mountains will begin to see some storms at around 2 this afternoon. That'll continue, then phase out late afternoon. Even the little San Bernardinos could see a little bit of action, and that'll be pushed its way probably towards Yucca Valley, getting a little sprinkles there. And the GFS concurs. Mountain thunderstorms, nothing for the valley. Fausto and Genevieve are the two latest storms that were named over the weekend, and Fausto basically falling apart over the open waters of the Pacific, but Genevieve has been upgraded to a Cat 1 hurricane and will quickly gain strength, become a Category 4 major hurricane by possibly late tomorrow. That's how fast it's developing, and it'll parallel the Mexican coastline, Baja coastline, and because of that, we're going to keep our eye on it. By this coming weekend, it could pull up some moisture over Southern California. Here's your Comfort Air 7-day forecast. No relief from the heat or humidity. 113 today, 114 tomorrow, 116s Wednesday and Thursday. Still hot for the weekend.
Let's play safe. That's the new message from our friends at Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. You know, they've been a fabulous destination for good times for all of us for years. And now they want everyone to know that during the shutdown due to the pandemic, they've remained committed to the safety of their guests by completing a huge renovation. They're bigger and better than ever now. And with all CDC guidelines strictly observed, they're ready. Are you? Let's play safe.
Hi, I'm Simon Farmer. I'm the Executive Director of Marketing here at Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. We reopened on May 22nd. If you haven't been with us since that time, a lot has changed. There's a lot of excitement going on here at Morongo. Obviously, when we reopened, we wanted to make sure that we're reopening Morongo in a way that we knew was going to be safe for our guests. So we have a lot of new measures. When you come to Morongo, the mitigation's a little bit different. When you first walk through the door, we're doing temperature checks for everybody. You'll also see everyone is wearing masks. Masks are required when you come in. It's an 18+ casino. We want to make sure, again, we can create a comfortable environment for people to come in. That includes social distancing. So when you come in through the doors, you're going to see safety mitigation. You're going to see stickers on the floor, markers on the floor. You'll see team members coming by and making sure that everyone is still maintaining a good, comfortable distance. In addition to those team members, you're going to see a diligent clean team hitting the floor, rigorous cleaning schedule. Restaurants, we have the same kind of protocols in place as well. We still have great dining available if you're looking for that experience. You can come to Morongo. We have tables spaced out. Again, rigorous cleaning schedule. Our safety and sanitation behind the scenes has always been top notch, but again, taking it to another level just to make sure that everyone's health and safety remain that highest priority. Back in 2019, we started this huge project to reface Morongo, to bring guests a whole new Morongo experience. While we were closed, that work did not stop. When we reopened back in May, it was a celebration of new beginnings. We were able to have our guests come back and not only re-experience Morongo again, but see an all-new Morongo. We just had a 65,000 square foot expansion, thousands of the newest, loosest slot machines that our guests can come and enjoy. We added some more table games in there. Beautifully redone, beautiful new lighting, beautiful new carpet, beautiful new decor elements, a great promotion stage, some all new amenities back in our expansion as well, including some new places to eat and drink. Our new sideline bar and grill, fantastic. 30-foot video wall where you can catch a game. Perfect spot to kick back and relax, enjoy a drink. Great food, fried chicken sandwiches, grilled cheese, hot dogs, burgers. It's the experience that you get at your favorite sports stadium. So we're bringing it to Morongo. No better place to sit than the sideline, right? Now you can also head to Splash Bar. Splash Bar's beautiful new bar, wonderful light feature. It's going to greet you as you're coming in through our doors. Great cocktails. We have some specialty drinks. You got to be sure to ask about those when you come and check it out.
With their new impressive expansion and all the appropriate safety measures now in place, the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa is definitely ready to play safe. For Desert Living Now, I'm Sandy Newton.
during this pandemic, so many healthcare professionals have stepped up creating new ways to deal with the realities of COVID-19. Our friends at Desert Oasis Healthcare have some exciting new plans in place that they'd like to share with us. Joining us is Dr. Lindsay Valenzuela, Administrator of Population Health and Prescription Medicine. Welcome, Lindsay.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. So great to see you. Thanks for joining us. And I'm curious, what has been your biggest challenge over there once this pandemic hit? What's been the biggest challenge?
Well, there have been a few, but I would say one of the biggest challenges is really maintaining the connection that we have with our patients as well as our staff, and creating environments where people feel comfortable and continuing to do the work that we've been doing. So a lot of that has to do with education and communication, adopting new forms of communication and technology. Those were really important.
And I know one of the new technologies that you have implemented is your partnership with Remedy. And is it an actual app or what is it? Explain it to us.
Remedy is a technology that we started using about 5 years ago. It's what we call a predictive modeling tool. So it helps us to make decisions. We initially used it for diabetes and then heart failure. But when the pandemic hit, Remedy started working with the CDC to create surveys that would identify people who were at risk of having severe forms of COVID-19. So we started working with them to do surveys pre-appointment. So somebody might get a survey the day before their appointment, and it would alert us if some of their answers were concerning. So the algorithmic decision-making helps us to define if somebody really shouldn't be coming onto our campus or if they have needs that we need to help them meet. Things like safety, access to medications and food, or severe symptoms that really need to be addressed. So it was really about the safety of our staff and the safety of our members to be sure that we had that information. So Remedy's been an important tool for us to build upon throughout the pandemic.
Wow, that is amazing technology. Boy, talk about cutting edge. That is so helpful. And then in turn, so that kind of helps educate you, but how in turn are you then educating your patients?
Well, that's been really important because I'm sure, as many of you know, the information that our patients are presented with is varied from true to false, scientific to not. And we wanted to provide our members with the most relevant information we could. Much of it based on the CDC guidelines. We created scripting that was used company-wide by everybody from customer service to our physicians so that our messaging was consistent. Our members were all getting the same message, and that message has really changed over the months, depending upon what the guidelines and recommendations have been. And as you know, those have changed over the last 5 months. So we would do outreach calls to our members who might not be in special programs, as well as making sure that those special programs that deal with specific chronic diseases or needs had that scripting as well.
Wow, that is so excellent. I'm so impressed with what you're doing over there. And I know you're part of a 2-year study, too, a national study. So tell me a little bit about that.
So that's a study through a company called Altura. We've worked with them for many years on different research projects. And the goal of the study is to better understand COVID-19. Obviously, they need quite a bit of data and time to discover those trends. So it's a 2-year study, and anybody is welcome to enroll, any of our Desert Oasis healthcare members. They'll get a survey every 2 weeks that talks about COVID testing, results, health, access to food and medications and their needs. Every 2 weeks, that survey will go out, and every month, if our members in the survey have completed that survey, they'll be in a drawing for a gift card. So we really need the information to understand how this is affecting our population in many different ways.
Well, I am so impressed. You definitely have a very comprehensive program over at Desert Oasis. Thank you so much, Dr. Valenzuela, for giving us an update. We appreciate all you're doing for our community.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
here as a state.